Hi, it's Maureen Muldoon, and we are on lesson 154 with A Course in Miracles, the workbook lessons, and you can go ahead and like it and subscribe it and share it with your friends. Today's lesson is I am among the ministers of God. Let us today be neither arrogant nor falsely humble. We have gone beyond such foolishness. We cannot judge ourselves, nor need we do so. These are but attempts to hold decision off and to delay commitment to our function. It's not our part to judge our worth, nor can we know what role is best for us, what we can do within a larger plan we cannot see in its entirety. Our part is cast in heaven, not in hell. And what we think is weakness can be strength, and what we believe to be our strength is often arrogance. Whatever your appointed role may be, it was selected by the voice for God, whose function is to speak for you as well, seeing your strengths exactly as they are and equally aware of where they can be best applied, for what, to whom, and when. He chooses and accepts your part for you. He does not work without your own consent, but he is not deceived in what you are and listens only to his voice in you. So it's basically saying, we don't have to figure anything out. And I know that sounds crazy, and especially for a world that really wants to groom us for planning and strategizing and navigating and goal making. And I'm not saying that, having goals is wrong. It's just not always right. And what I mean by that is that we usually underestimate our abilities, or we miss the boat completely. Everything that I've ever done in my life, every show, every event, every engagement, everything that was good and beautiful and holy was not something that I planned. Every kid I ever had was not something I planned. Everything that's come to me that's for me has come effortlessly. And I'm just going to share that information with you. Everything that I've strived for, that I tried to get, that I work hard at, those things were actually not for me. The plan that you're here to play is easy. Like, you don't have to stress or struggle or worry or fear. If it's not coming easy, then it's just not yours right now. And whatever is coming easy is the thing that you're supposed to do. And we can get hung up and strung out on striving. This is a world that is addicted to striving. So, and it's an addiction, so we don't realize that we're doing it. We think it's socially acceptable. We think it's absolutely appropriate for everyone to be in the mad race to nowhere. So these are the things we want to look at so that we don't misuse our resources. And so that we can just turn our lives over to the care of God as we understand God, which is something we might hear in a 12-step program, but it works if you work it. It's through his ability to hear one voice, which is his own, that you become aware at last there is one voice in you. And that one voice appoints your function and relays it to you, giving you the strength to understand it, do what it entails, and to succeed in everything you do that is related to it. God has joined his Son in this, and thus his Son becomes his messenger of unity with him. So it's basically saying in paragraph 3, like, everything that you need to succeed in the divine plan that's laid out for you, you have. You already have everything that you need. I think that's good news. 4. It is this joining through the voice of God, of Father and Son, that sets apart salvation from the world. It is this voice which speaks of laws the world does not obey, which promises salvation from all sin, with guilt abolished in the mind that God created sinless. Now this mind becomes aware again of who created it and of his lasting union with it. So is itself the one reality in which its will and that of God's are joined. So it's a surrender prayer. It's like, God, I surrender all that I am to all that you'll have me be. I surrender my head, my heart, my agenda, my plans. I offer myself to you use me and build with me, whatever you will. It's like the third step prayer from 12 step. I do a prayer every single day for A Course in Miracles, which is, I surrender, I tuck my chin and bow my head. I surrender all that I am to all that you will have me be, knowing that everything that I need is given to me. Like, I don't have to stress and I don't have to strive. I gave that up a couple years ago. I know it sounds crazy, but I gave up stressing and striving a couple of years ago, and haven't regret, laying that down. Yeah, it's not a necessary ingredient in a happy life. Like, you could totally let go of striving and be absolutely peaceful without it. See, this is the difference between the law of attraction or trying to get your good. You're working from a very limited thought pattern where you think you need to get something. As long as you think you need to get something, you've lost. So that would be from the mind of manifesting, of needing to manifest something, of needing to bring something into form. But if you come from the mind of knowing that you already have everything, you no longer need to manifest, and instead of trying to get something from the exterior and bring it in, you work from the interior and extend it out. So instead of becoming a black hole trying to suck things in and bring things into you, you become a channel where everything comes through you. And it's a much nicer way of being, and it's a choice. You have to choose it consciously. A messenger is not the one who writes the message. He delivers it. So it comes through you. You don't write the message. You don't tell God where to go and what to do. You just listen and the voice comes through you, or the intention comes through you, and you get to experience it. You're twice blessed because you get to experience it first, and then you share it with the world. It says, a messenger is not the one who writes the message. He delivers it. Nor does he question the right of him who does, nor ask why he has chosen those who will receive the message that he brings. It's enough that he accepts it, gives it to the ones whom it is intended, and fulfills his role in its delivery. If he determines what the messages should be, or what their purpose is, or where they should be carried, he is failing to perform his proper part as bringer of the word. So we don't want to try and figure out who we're supposed to help and how we're supposed to collaborate and with who. We just want to be guided and be guidable, and let yourself rest in synchronicities. Deepak Chopra says that as we begin to wake up, two things happen. One, we stop worrying about everything. Wouldn't that be a nice addiction to lay down? And two, everything becomes like a synchronicity. And if you find your life moving in that direction, well done. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, you might want to spend some time in more stillness. Just a suggestion, just an invitation. Number 6, there is one major difference in the role of heaven's messengers, which set them apart from those the world appoints. The message that they deliver are intended first for them, and it is only as they accept them for themselves that they become able to bring them further and to give them everywhere that they are meant to be. Like earthly messengers, they did not write the message they bear, but they become their first receivers in the truest sense, receiving to prepare themselves to give. So that's exactly what I was just saying. When you channel something, and we're all capable of channeling, and I know that sounds so weird and woo-woo, but it's the truth anyhow, it comes through you when you kind of get to be delighted by it yourself, and then you share it with the world, and an idea shared is strengthened. So you could be sharing ideas that are not channeled, that just come authored by fear, that are like the sky is falling and we're going to hell in a handbasket, and that's an idea that gets to be strengthened in you if you keep sharing that with people. Or you could share the idea that comes through you through love, and those will be strengthened as well. And wouldn't you rather be strong in love than strong in fear? 7. An earthly messenger fulfills his role by giving all of his messages away. The messengers of God perform their part by their acceptance of his message as for themselves and show they understand the message by giving them away. They chose no role that are not given them by his authority, and so they gain by every message that they give away. So it's basically saying an idea shared is strengthened. Would you receive the message of God? For thus do you become his messenger. You're appointed now, and yet you wait to give the message you have received, and so you do not know that they are yours, and do not recognize them. No one can receive and understand he has received until he gives, for in the giving is his own acceptance of what he received. So, you've probably already received inspirations and intuitions, and maybe you sat on them. Maybe you're like, meh, it sounds really good, but it's probably not for me, or it's probably not something I'm supposed to be doing. And it's not until you truly give it to someone else by saying, I think I'm going to do this, or I feel like I'm supposed to help you in this way, or do you recognize that, and then whatever that truth is that you're supposed to express, that you find yourself like accepting it in a more substantial and impactful way than ever before, because you're willing to share it. It wasn't until I started teaching A Course in Miracles that I truly began to even maybe understand them even in the slightest. That's why I never really studied alone. I always studied with groups, because I knew that it was in sharing that I would actually receive the information, and that everyone in the group would be my teacher. So I adore studying in groups. It's a way that we can share and extend the lessons, and so that's optimal for me. You who are now the messengers of God receive his message, for that is part of your appointed role. God has not failed to offer what you need, nor has it been left unaccepted. Yet another part of your appointed task is yet to be accomplished. He who has received for you the messages of God, have them be received by you as well, for thus do you identify with him and claim your own. He who has received for you the messages of God would have them be received by you as well. Oh, that's nice. So it's like saying, like you're here to deliver the message, but also you're here to receive the message, and make it your own. For thus do you identify with him and claim your own. It is this joining that we undertake to recognize today. We will not seek to keep our minds apart from him who speaks for us, for it is but our voice we hear as we attend him. He alone can speak to us and for us, joining in one voice the getting and the giving of God's word, the giving and receiving of his will. We practice giving him what he would have, that we may recognize his gifts to us. He needs our voice that he may speak through us. He needs our hands to hold his messages and carry them to those whom he appoints. He needs our feet to bring us where he wills, that those who wait in misery may be at last delivered. And he needs our will united with his own, that we may be the true receiver of the gifts he gives. Let us but learn this lesson for today. We will not recognize what we receive until we give it. You have heard this said 100 ways, 100 times, and yet belief is lacking still. But this is sure, until belief is given it, you will receive 1,000 miracles and then receive 1,000 more, but will not know that God himself has left no gift beyond what you already have, nor has denied the teeniest of blessings to his Son. What can this mean to you, until you have identified with him and with his own? Our lesson for today is stated thus: I am among the ministers of God, and I am grateful that I have the means by which to recognize that I am free. It's a really interesting lesson for all of us to state that we are among the ministers of God, and grateful that we have the means to recognize that we're free. He goes on to say the world recedes as we light up our minds and realize these holy words are true. They are the message sent to us today from our Creator. Now we demonstrate how they have changed our minds about ourselves and what our function is. For as we prove that we accept no will, we do not share, our many gifts from our Creator will spring to our sight and leap into our hands, and we will recognize that we have received. I am among the ministers of God. Sounds like an easy little lesson, right? Like an easy thing to affirm. But once we decide that that's true, the decision is one thing, but the embodiment is another. And the embodiment comes when we actually act on it. When we decide, as a minister, I'm here to minister. So to minister means to extend care. And, you know, it's a beautiful thing. I mean, basically it's a beautiful thing. There's not too much argument in this lesson, except for that we might think, like, did we come here to be ministers? I can't tell you how many times I've had people say to me, like, hey, Maureen, like, I can put a reverend after your name, you know, a couple $1,000 in a couple of months, you know, we can get you can be Reverend Maureen. And I'm like, why would I want that? Nothing against people who have that, but I don't know what the purpose of that would be, I guess. To put me on a pedestal so that I can say I'm somehow better than somebody else or more spiritual than somebody else. I don't know. I don't know if that's at all helpful. And that's why I haven't chosen to do that. I like the idea that we're all ministers, you know, and that we become ministers just simply by saying, I am a minister of God, which sounds insane. You know, like, you can't just say you're a minister of God. That's like saying I'm a doctor. But really, I mean, as far as being a minister for God goes, like, you don't have to jump through any hoops. You don't have to learn any special handshakes, any special rituals, or memorize any special wording of prayers. Everything that you already have, everything that you might need to be a minister of God, you already have. And God doesn't call the qualified. God qualifies the called. And He qualifies, or she qualifies, who answers the calling. So everybody's called to be a minister. Everybody's called to be helpful and to minister to each other. Again, like, ministering just means to be helpful. To be helpful. That's it. And one of the affirmations from A Course in Miracles says, I'm here only to be truly helpful. I'm here to represent He who sent me. I don't have to worry about what to say or what to do, because He who sent me will direct me, and I will be healed as I allow Him to teach me to heal. So, you know, this is the unspecial role that we all get to play. And it's not special. We all get to play it. Every single one of us. And it's not even if you want to. You don't even have to say I'm a minister of God. All you have to do is recognize that your goal is no different than your brother's. I know that sounds like a major thing that I'm making sound like a minor thing. All you have to do. Anyway, today's lesson is I am among the ministers of God. Play around with that. See how you feel about it. See what it means to you. If you're not sure how you feel about it, or you know what it means to you, take it to your internal teacher. Say, what's this whole thing about me being a minister? What, I've never signed up for this. And just see if there is some more additional information that might be helpful in your navigation of this lesson. And then it's not just about some title that you've taken on. It's an embodiment. And it's basically saying, I'm here to be helpful. That's what this lesson is saying. It's saying, I'm here to be helpful, and I am among those who are helpful for the extension of love. That's it. And that's a whole nother way of saying the exact same thing. I'm among the ministers of God, or I am here to be helpful to extend love. So if you want to take it out of the Christian vernacular and you just want to use it in the ordinary, you could say, I am here to be helpful to extend the curriculum of love, which I rather like. So that's who you're here to be. It's exciting when you put it that way. So God bless you, my divine mighty minister. God bless you and your ministry. Namaste.